Pain is the greatest teacher of all, though most people run from it, hide from it, or let it crush them. When someone hurts you, when life knocks you down, when you feel the weight of betrayal or rejection pressing on your chest, that pain feels unbearable. But deep inside that fire is something extraordinary, something most people never discover. Pain is power. It is the kind of power that no book, no mentor, no easy success can ever give you. It breaks you open in ways you never thought possible, and in that brokenness you're handed a choice. Stay shattered or rebuild yourself into something far stronger than you ever were before. Most choose to stay down. They cry, complain, or spend years letting pain define them. But the ones who rise, the ones who refuse to let pain control them, turn it into the sharpest weapon in their arsenal. You have to understand this. Pain is not your enemy. It is the hammer that smashes away the weaker parts of you. It shows you where you're vulnerable, where you've been blind, where you've put your trust in the wrong hands. It shines a light on what needs to change. When he hurts you, when life betrays you, when you think you cannot take another breath, that moment is when the transformation begins, because pain wakes you up. It makes you aware. It forces you to realize that comfort has been your prison, that being soft has made you fragile, and that the only way to truly protect yourself is to grow harder, wiser, stronger. Think about it. Every powerful person you admire, every success story that inspires you, every legend you've ever heard about, they all share one thing in common: pain. They've all been rejected, broken, laughed at, betrayed. Some of them have been left with nothing, but what did they do? They turned pain into motivation. They used heartbreak as rocket fuel. They used failure as the fire under their feet. They turned moments of despair into a lifelong obsession with rising higher. And you have that exact same opportunity. When someone hurts you, it's easy to think the pain is permanent, that you'll never heal, that your joy has been stolen. But the truth is, pain is a temporary test. It's a dark tunnel, yes, but inside that tunnel you build muscles no one can see. You build mental armor, you grow grit. And when you walk out of that tunnel, you are no longer the same person. You are unshakable. This is the secret most people never grasp. They waste pain. They numb themselves with distractions, cry endlessly, or blame everyone else. But if you take that pain and sit with it, if you allow it to ignite a fire in you instead of putting it out, it becomes the energy that carries you further than you ever dreamed, because there is no fuel stronger than hurt. Love may inspire you, comfort may keep you safe, but pain makes you unstoppable. It tears away the illusions, it forces you to focus, it strips you of excuses. Pain tells you if you don't get stronger, you will be destroyed. And that's when you decide, destroyed or rebuilt. When you feel that deep ache in your chest from betrayal or heartbreak, you can either drown in it or use it as a signal that you deserve better, a signal that you must rise higher, a signal that now is the time to chase goals you've been putting off, to grow in silence, to transform into the kind of person who cannot be ignored. Imagine taking every ounce of that energy, every tear, every sleepless night, every restless thought, and pouring it into your work, your body, your purpose. Imagine waking up early, training harder, reading more, building yourself into a version that even you barely recognize. That is what pain is for. That is why it comes to you, not to end you, but to elevate you. People often say time heals all wounds. But time does nothing unless you use it wisely. Pain doesn't disappear with time. It disappears with transformation. When you decide to use your suffering as motivation instead of letting it rot you from within, that's when healing happens. That's when power is born. The gym becomes therapy, discipline becomes medicine, and success becomes revenge. Not against anyone else, but against the version of you who almost gave up. Pain whispers to you, stay broken, but you have to shout back, no, I will rise. And here's the most powerful truth. The ones who hurt you never expect you to rise. They expect you to fall apart, to beg, to remain stuck, to lose yourself. But when you turn pain into power, you confuse them. You make them question themselves. You make them realize they underestimated you. And that confusion, that shock, is not even the best part. The best part is that you no longer need them at all. Because the person you've become through pain is far stronger, wiser, and more valuable than the person who once depended on someone else for validation. Pain makes you independent. Pain teaches you not to put your soul in the hands of another. Pain shows you that your greatest source of strength is not out there, it's within you. And once you've learned that lesson, once you've felt yourself grow through the fire, you become dangerous. Not dangerous in a cruel way, but dangerous in the sense that nothing can break you again. Pain gave you armor, pain gave you weapons, pain gave you a new identity, one that cannot be manipulated, controlled, or destroyed. So the next time someone hurts you, don't see it as the end, see it as the beginning. The beginning of your rise, the beginning of your transformation. Use that pain as fuel to push harder in every area of your life. Let it light a fire in your heart so bright that no darkness can overcome it. Let it drive you to places comfort never could. And when people look at you and ask, "How did you become so strong?" smile because you know the truth. It wasn't love that made you, it wasn't happiness, it wasn't luck. It was pain. Pain gave you power. Pain made you unstoppable. Pain turned you into the version of yourself that you were always meant to become. That is why you must never run from pain, never waste it, never let it drown you. Embrace it, use it, let it sharpen you, because in the end, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your greatest ally, the one force that will never lie to you, never comfort you into weakness, but always push you towards strength. And once you realize that, once you accept that pain is power, you will never see heartbreak, rejection, or loss the same way again. You will welcome it, transform through it, and rise above it, and nothing, no one will ever be able to stop you. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you can ever use, but most people don't understand it. When someone hurts you, the first instinct is to react. Scream, cry, demand answers, or beg for closure. That's exactly what they expect. They expect you to chase, to break down, to pour out your emotions in ways that feed their ego. They thrive on the idea that they have control over you, that their words or actions can keep you spinning in circles of pain. But when you choose silence, you take away the one thing they wanted most, your reaction. You take away their power, and in that moment, something incredible begins to happen. They get confused. They don't understand how you can hold back. They don't know how you can just walk away, stay quiet, and focus on yourself. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength. It is the refusal to waste your energy on someone who doesn't deserve it. It is the art of turning your back without saying a word, and in doing so, showing that you will not be controlled by their games. Silence is a mirror that forces them to face themselves, because without your reaction, they are left alone with their own action. But silence alone is not enough. It must be paired with growth. Imagine being silent while also building yourself every single day. Imagine not chasing answers but chasing your goals, not looking for closure but creating a better version of yourself. That combination, silence and self-growth, is a storm they never see coming, because the person who hurt you expected you to stay stuck, expected you to cry and waste away, expected you to lose yourself. They did not expect you to use that pain as a stepping stone to evolve. And when they see you silent, glowing, and unbothered, it shakes them. It confuses them because their plan failed. Their plan was to break you, but instead you grew. Their plan was to leave you small, but instead you became larger than life. Growth is the most dangerous form of revenge because it doesn't seek to harm them. It makes them irrelevant. When you pour your energy into working out, into reading, into building your career, into elevating your mindset, into glowing up in every sense of the word, You silently communicate something far more powerful than any angry words ever could. You did not destroy me, you built me. That is the paradox that confuses anyone who tries to hurt you. They wonder why you're not chasing after them, why you're not begging for closure, why you're not broken. Instead, they see you shining, leveling up, and moving forward with your head held high. That silence screams louder than any words ever could. Understand this: when you remain silent, you are not suppressing your pain. You are redirecting it. You are transforming the energy of heartbreak, rejection, or betrayal into fuel for progress. Silence allows you to preserve your dignity while focusing all of your energy on building something greater for yourself. Every time you want to text them, argue with them, or prove your worth, you take that energy and pour it into yourself instead. That's how self-growth happens. Through discipline, through redirection, through choosing yourself over the chaos they tried to drag you into. And here's the thing: silence doesn't mean doing nothing. Silence means doing everything in the shadows. It means improving your body while they think you're broken. It means building your wealth while they assume you're stuck. It means healing your mind while they imagine you're still obsessing over them. Then one day, when they finally look back, they no longer recognize you. That confusion is powerful. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they had control. But your silence and growth prove otherwise. Most people want revenge through words or actions, but the greatest revenge is always transformation. Nothing unsettles someone more than realizing the person they tried to tear down has become untouchable. Your silence says, "You don't deserve my voice." Your growth says, "You don't deserve my time." Together, they create a storm of strength that no one can stand against. And the best part, it's not even about them. At first, maybe your silence and growth are about proving them wrong, but eventually you realize it was never about them. It was about you. About becoming the best version of yourself, about finding peace, about no longer depending on someone else's approval or validation. Silence also gives you clarity. When you stop reacting, when you step back from the chaos, you begin to see things as they truly are. You see who they really were without the noise of your emotions clouding your vision. You see your own worth more clearly. You begin to realize that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. That's the hidden gift of silence. It doesn't just confuse them, it heals you. It gives you space to breathe, to grow, to rise without distraction. Think about it. If you argue, if you chase, if you beg, you waste precious time and energy. But if you remain silent and focus inward, every day you become stronger while they stay stuck in the same patterns. That's why silence and growth are such a powerful combination. They shift the power dynamic completely. The person who once thought they had control now sees they have none, and the person they thought was weak has become unstoppable. Over time, your silence and growth create an aura around you. People start to notice. They see your confidence, your strength, your transformation, and they can't ignore it. You no longer even have to prove anything. The evidence is in your presence. That kind of power cannot be faked. It can only be built through discipline, patience, and the refusal to be dragged down by pain. So the next time someone tries to hurt you, don't waste your breath giving them what they want. Don't give them the satisfaction of watching you break. Instead, turn inward, be silent, build, grow. Focus so hard on your evolution that by the time they look for you, you are unrecognizable. Not because you lost yourself, but because you finally found yourself. Silence starves them of control. Growth proves that their attempt to break you only made you greater, and that confusion, that silence, that transformation, that's your victory, because the truth is, the loudest answer is no answer. And the greatest revenge is not revenge at all. It's becoming someone so strong, so radiant, and so untouchable that the people who once tried to hurt you can no longer reach you. That is the true power of silence and self-growth. They expected weakness. Instead, you gave them greatness. They expected tears. Instead, you gave them transformation. They expected you to stay stuck. Instead, you rose higher than ever before. And that, right there, is how you win without ever lifting a finger or saying a single word. Pain is the most misunderstood force in life. People spend their whole existence trying to avoid it, fearing it, numbing it, or running from it, when in reality, pain is the most powerful source of transformation they will ever encounter. It is raw, it is honest, and it does not lie. Pain doesn't sugarcoat the truth, it doesn't flatter you, it doesn't coddle you. It strips everything away until only your core remains. That is why pain is power. When you learn to embrace it instead of avoiding it, when you learn to turn it into fuel instead of weakness, you become unstoppable. When someone hurts you, when life betrays you, when the universe feels like it's collapsing on your shoulders, you are handed a gift. It doesn't feel like a gift, it feels like hell. It feels like you can't breathe, like you'll never recover, like your heart has been ripped out. But hidden inside that suffering is a seed of strength waiting to grow. Every tear you shed waters that seed. Every sleepless night is the soil pressing down, forcing your roots to grow deeper. Pain is not meant to break you. Pain is meant to build you if you choose to rise instead of crumble. Think of the people who inspire you most. Heroes, leaders, legends, icons. They all have one thing in common: they went through pain. They suffered rejection, betrayal, loss, heartbreak, failure. They faced nights darker than anything you can imagine. But what did they do? They refused to let that pain bury them. They turned it into fire. They let it sharpen them like a blade. They used it as the fuel to climb higher than anyone thought possible. That is what makes them powerful. Not the absence of pain, but the mastery of it. Pain introduces you to yourself. It shows you who you really are when the mask is gone, when comfort is stripped away, when there's no one to lean on. In that moment of silence, in that crushing weight, you discover whether you are someone who folds or someone who fights. And here's the truth. Most people fold. They let pain destroy them. They sink into bitterness, anger, and regret. But you are not most people. You can choose differently. You can choose to take that same pain and turn it into a weapon, into fuel, into the very thing that makes you stronger than you've ever been. Imagine standing in front of the fire. It burns, it hurts, it feels unbearable. But if you endure it, if you step through it instead of running away, you come out the other side changed. You are forged like steel. That's what pain does, it forges you. Just like muscles grow only after being torn in the gym, your spirit grows only after being torn by pain. Without pain, there is no strength. Without pain, there is no growth. Without pain, you remain soft, fragile, and unprepared for life's battles. Pain is the price of greatness. When someone hurts you deeply, the temptation is to see yourself as broken. But pain is not proof that you are broken. It is proof that you are alive, that you cared, that you loved, that you trusted. And now you get to take all of that energy and channel it back into yourself. Instead of chasing closure, chase progress. Instead of begging for answers, build a new version of yourself so powerful that you don't need answers. Instead of crying for what you lost, rise for what you're about to gain. Pain is energy. It doesn't disappear. You either waste it in despair or you convert it into drive. That heartbreak that keeps you awake at night, channel it into discipline. That rejection that makes you feel worthless, channel it into self-mastery. That betrayal that shattered your trust, channel it into building a life so great that betrayal becomes irrelevant. Pain gives you intensity. It gives you fire in your eyes, edge in your voice, and hunger in your soul. While others are distracted by comfort, you are sharpened by pain. That's why those who embrace pain always outlast those who run from it. The truth is, comfort is the killer of ambition. People who live in constant ease never develop the strength to rise above. But pain forces you to move, it forces you to evolve, it forces you to step outside the old version of yourself and build someone new. Every scar you carry is not a mark of weakness but a badge of survival. Every wound is proof that you fought battles others never had the courage to face. Pain is your reminder that you can survive storms. And if you can survive storms, you can build empires. Do not waste your pain by drowning in it. Do not let it rot you from within. Use it, redirect it. Let it fuel your workouts, your goals, your business, your art, your vision. Let it push you to wake up earlier, to work harder, to stand taller. Let it remind you that you will never settle again, that you will never hand your power to someone unworthy, that you will never waste your life on mediocrity. Pain sharpens your standards. It teaches you who deserves your love and who doesn't. It shows you where you've been weak so that you can grow unbreakable. There will be days when the pain feels unbearable, when it feels like it's too heavy to carry. On those days, remind yourself that this pain is temporary, but the strength it builds will last forever. The heartbreak will fade, but the discipline you develop will remain. The betrayal will sting less, but the wisdom it gives you will shape your future. The tears will dry, but the fire inside you will keep burning. Pain fades, but the power you create from it stays with you for life. The reason pain feels so heavy is because it is potential energy waiting to be released. Every ounce of hurt is energy, and if you don't use it, it will consume you. But if you channel it, it will move mountains. Pain is like fire. It can burn you or it can forge you. The choice is yours. Let it destroy you or let it shape you into something unrecognizable. So when life hurts you, when someone breaks your heart, when failure knocks you down, don't say, "Why me?" Say, "Try me." Let the pain remind you that you are alive, that you have fight left in you, that you are not finished. Use it to rise, to grow, to build. Because in the end, it is not love or luck or comfort that makes you powerful. It is pain. Pain is the fuel that launches rockets. Pain is the fire that forges steel. Pain is the storm that produces warriors. And if you choose to use it, if you choose to rise instead of fall, your pain will become your greatest source of strength. And when you look back years from now, you won't remember the nights you cried. You won't remember the sleepless hours or the heartbreak. You'll remember the strength you built, the empire you created, the person you became. You'll realize that the pain that once tried to bury you was the very thing that planted you. Pain is not the end. Pain is the beginning. Pain is the spark. Pain is the power. And when the dust settles, when the noise of the past has faded, and the sting of betrayal is only a memory, you will look in the mirror and see someone unrecognizable. Not because you broke, but because you rebuilt. Pain was never sent to end you. It was sent to awaken you. Every tear became a lesson, every wound became a reminder, and every dark night became the foundation of your rise. You no longer need revenge, you no longer need closure, because the person you've become is proof that nothing could hold you down. That is the secret. Pain doesn't take from you, it gives to you if you let it. It gives you hunger, it gives you wisdom, it gives you a fire that can't be extinguished. The scars you carry are not ugly, they are your medals. They tell the world, I survived, I endured, I conquered. So let pain fuel you. Let it drive you higher than your enemies ever imagined, further than your doubters ever predicted, and deeper into the greatness you were always meant for. Because in the end, pain is not your weakness. Pain is your power. Pain is the reason you will rise.